It's a gamble when you're doing a long-awaited sequel. It can either work really well, Bill and Ted 3, or it can fail abysmally, Coming to America. Now, I was vaguely looking forward to this. The trailer looked mildly amusing, but I must say this film is such a disappointment to me. It really is. And I hate saying that. I really do hate saying that, because Eddie Murphy kind of redeemed himself with Dolomite Is My Name, in recent years, and I think that's a great movie. I think that's legitimately great. And I thought he was back. You kept hearing that he was working on new projects. He's working apparently on the new Beverly Hills Cop, and he was working on Coming to America. Now the first Coming to America. Now the first Coming to America, it's difficult with these movies because they have such an identity specific to the time. I think the reason that Bill and Ted 3 worked is because Bill and Ted 3, their characters are just so likeable in any time period. Their messages be excellent to each other. Whereas with Coming to America, there's specific 80s references that made that movie. It's a specific time period movie. Now you're just trying to take those characters from Coming to America and they try and update it too much. They're pandering to the modern world. That's one of the things I don't like about this movie. It's really pandering to the modern world, which, let's face it, the modern world is a little bit more boring now. It almost feels like Eddie Murphy decided, I'm going to make this movie and I'm just going to try and please everyone. I'm going to try and please fans of the original, and I'm going to try and please a new audience. Now, what he doesn't please fans of the original, because the jokes in it that could be in the original are bland. They're not as good. They're not as funny. At the most, I had a slight smile in this. At the most. And then he just focuses on trying to please today's age of, the modern world. The modern young person. I don't get why you would try and do that. When you do this sort of movie, you just have to focus on the old fans, really, because you're not trying to do a new franchise. You're just trying to bring that nostalgia. Prince Akeem is coming back to America. He finds out he has a son, and it focuses more on the son than Akeem. I watched this movie to see Eddie Murphy, and it made the cardinal sin. It was like, let's focus not on Eddie Murphy. Let's not focus on him. Let's focus on his son in the movie. Arsenio Hall is back as Semi, Akeem's best friend. And again, he's not focused on. So you take the very funny characters from Coming to America and have them just sort of on the side here. And you focus on Jermaine Fowler as Akeem's son. And he's nowhere near as good as Eddie Murphy. He's nowhere near as entertaining. He's boring. He's bland. And I've never been a fan of Leslie Jones. Never. And she's a big part of this movie. I've always found her obnoxious, annoying. I don't like her humour. I didn't like her in Ghostbusters. She does your head in this. And this is not what I wanted to see. And I'm so annoyed. I'm so frustrated that this is the route it went down. Because Eddie Murphy knocked it out of the park with Dolomite. And in this, it loses the original's charm because it's so lifeless. It's so humourless. There's moments in this where it's almost like you're watching a different film. It's like, it's not even Coming to America. It's like the characters from Coming to America barely in just a modern, bland comedy. Even Wesley Snipes can't save this, even though he's mildly amusing. Wesley Snipes is mildly amusing in this, and I'm glad they put him in it after the kind of splash he made in Dolomite Is My Name. And it's a shame when Eddie Murphy can't even save it. Eddie Murphy isn't that funny in this. It comes across like the Eddie Murphy from the dozens of awful movies he'd done before Dolomite. It doesn't feel like the Dolomite Eddie Murphy who had that sparkle back in his eye. This was Eddie Murphy going through the motions, and that's such a shame to me. I didn't really laugh at anything he did or said in this. This movie should have been brave. It should have been willing to actually give 2021 a kick up the arse and remind us of that fun, that charm of the 80s. And that first movie had some controversial aspects to it, but it almost feels like this movie's entire goal is to get rid of any controversy that the first one had. It's almost like just trying to rub out the first one, really. But that's not what I wanted to see. I'm not interested in the overly PC version of Coming to America. You're trying to please people who wouldn't like this in the first place. There's a few jokes to please people with the original movie, but ultimately you're trying to introduce it to a new audience, which makes it pointless. It's like, why even bother? Just make something new. What did you guys think of Coming to America? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you're a movie geek just like me. Eddie Murphy needs to do better, and I'm just so sad because Dolomite Is My Name was brilliant. And I just hope he doesn't slip into going through the motions again. I hope they'll come up with something good for Beverly Hills Cop 4. But I really didn't like this. I really didn't. What did you guys think?